All right, welcome everybody to Spiritually Raw. How are you? This is April. I'm Jay. We're going to be your hosts today. Our soul brother hanging out with today, Mr. Brian Ridgway, the spell breaker. Very, very cool. It's interesting to find out what spells he does break. So anyway, we're going to find out what he's doing in his life that can help you in your journey in your life. So first of all of Brian's links are right there. You can see them there. So do check them out there. Hey, listen, if you guys haven't already, where's that link at?
Which one?
The Awakening Academy. Where's that at?
Oh, I didn't. There it is right there.
All right, check this out, everybody. For those of you who want to find out what it's like to live multidimensionally, draw that all to you, and really have a really cool, prosperous, abundant life, go to attracteveryone.com. Okay, that's for those of you who are really ready for that breakthrough and you really feel like, hey, you know, it's time now. I want to tap into the 5D or whatever number that is for you. You know what I mean? That's where you want to hang out, attracteveryone.com. So check it out. It's free on us. All right. So do find that out. We like to know what you think about it. More about Brian, yeah?
Yes. And we're super excited to have you today. So for those of you, if this is the first time seeing Brian, he has an amazing story and we're so excited to share it. And what he's doing is really remarkable for the humanity as a whole. He is the #1 best-selling spiritual author. He's a mentor and he's a guide. He's the author of Break Your Self-Help Addiction. Now, that book literally became an overnight bestseller when Brian was like a non-author, when no one knew who he was. It's an incredible story. And he's it's sold over 100,000 copies, probably more now. It's in over 84 countries. And he just recently wrote an updated version of it called Your New Beginning. So we're going to learn all about your story and, you know, your life in Hawaii.
Well, welcome, brother. How are you?
Doing so great. Aloha. Great to be on with you too.
Aloha to you too. Aloha to you. So, all right, let's dive in and get the people to get to know you. Okay. So, you know, you're breaking that self-help addiction. So can you speak to that a bit? And let's talk about what that means. I get people are, you know, kind of got there with it, but can you break it down?
Yeah. You know, the title was a joke. I was working with this brilliant publisher, Angela, and she's done hundreds and hundreds of books. And we were talking about what is the #1 benefit you're helping people with. And I said, well, you know, other than the people that get into my free stuff or my lower entry stuff, the people that really go further with me, almost all of them have been working on themselves for years or decades. Most of them have quite a bit of financial investment in their self-help and or spiritual aspects of their journey. And not only are they still stuck, the things that they wanted to work on aren't solved, but they're actually, I mean, what is the phrase self-help junkie? That didn't come out of the blue. There's a reason for that term. So I said, it's almost like you learn all the self-abuse that you practice in your life. When you get into self-help and spirituality, you just find more clever ways. So I'm almost helping them break their self-help addiction. And she said, oh shit, that's it. You got to go with that. And we knew that title was, in a way, even though it's clever, it's got some humor, and the hardcore self-help junkies, they get it. We knew that it was limiting us from reaching a much larger audience. And I had tons of people read the book and say, okay, I almost didn't read this because I don't think I'm a self-help junkie. But a friend handed it to me and, oh my gosh, it's the best, you know, awakening book I've ever read. So we decided several months ago to do a revised version. And it is not the same book. It is rooted in the same timeless information that we now call Your New Beginning. And we're reaching a way larger audience with that.
It's interesting. Self-help junkie, you know, is that kind of saying that, okay, well, people just pretty much pay people to allow them to stay where they're at and not really break out?
Ironically, yes. And, you know, if we had longer, I tell you, I've really done quite a bit of figuring into this, but I'll put it in the most twisted way that I can. So somebody once said, of all the inventions that humans have come up with to prevent themselves from a true experience of God, religion is #1. And I would say, out of all the things that you, infinite, unlimited, eternal being, what you created to limit yourself and trap yourself and keep yourself really grinding on your awakening journey, you created the self-help industry to be as full of half-truths, non-truths, and rehash BS over and over and over again that doesn't take you all the way there, the self-help industry is the most brilliant thing that you ever created to keep yourself stuck. And it's no knock on any of the self-help. Everybody in it is doing exactly what they're here to do perfectly. It's just that the vast majority of it doesn't go all the way. And so, yeah, self-help junkiedom also, it has another twist in it, because what is a junkie looking for? Another fix.
Another fix.
Right.
Because self-help is all about fixing yourself. And my whole thing is you can't fix what ain't broken. You can't improve self-improvement. You can't improve the self. Those are all just booby traps along the way. You're already perfect. It's a matter of awakening to your perfection and your infinite eternal being.
That's a really good point. And you hear a lot of people saying, they're working towards the light and this and that about that. Well, you're already light.
Yeah.
That's your natural state of being, right?
For real. Yeah, you're the light and you're the source of the light. You can't really improve that.
Exactly. So you definitely improved your life though. So how did everything start out for you? Because you had a very traumatic childhood.
Yeah. And trauma is in the eye of the beholder. Like I wasn't ripped to shreds or drawn and quartered. I didn't experience any sexual trauma, which I got infinite compassion for everything everybody's been through. I did get my ass kicked physically and emotionally pretty much every day to the best of my recall for the first 17 years. My dad had been severely abused. From what I heard, he went through a lot worse than I did. And so I was beaten with stupid, ugly, worthless piece of shit. That was who I was taught that I was. Never going to get it right. That big dumb mouth of yours is going to do nothing but get you in trouble, boy. And it was every freaking day, backed up with physical violence. I was just in panic from waking up in the morning till going to bed. When is the next butt whooping coming? And with that self-image, I escaped home at 17, immediately got in trouble with the quote authorities, which I don't believe there is such a thing anymore. And I made my life the perfect mirror of stupid, ugly, worthless piece of shit until I had this I got into self-help at 14, or religion at 14, self-help at 17. And I ended up just putting my whole story in a couple minutes. I spent over 30 years, over $300,000 that I've gone back and tracked, tens of thousands of hours working on myself, trying to get my shit right, trying to fix myself. And after about 25 years in self-help, I thought this was my image. I'm so broken, so fundamentally broken. I can't even get self-help right. And I ended up being suicidal. And I just hit the lowest point that a person could hit. And I didn't just hit rock bottom. I dragged and bounced on rock bottom for years. And then in 2011, homeless, hopeless, after all that self-help, after all that spiritual journey, I had an awakening experience where in a couple minutes, I saw exactly how I create my universe and how I had been reflecting what I believe. Like I have a philosophy here that I'll end my story with. Everybody that I know in the spiritual realm says you create your reality, but that's not actually true in my view. The vast majority of people are infinitely over and over reflecting what they have already decided is true. It's when you wake up that you start creating your reality. And so
that is true.
That's pretty cool, man. I like that. I like that twist on it all. Okay, so let me ask you this. So there's people that are like, I love my therapist. I've been with them for 18 years. So what's the linear point of view from that? Meaning that's
a wake-up call right there.
Like, for example, what's the linear, like generally from your experience? I mean, obviously not, no medical claims or not discounting what's going on in people's head, but realistically, a somewhat of a rational human being, what if they had the right techniques for real? How long should it take for them to snap out of their shit for real and just really go and bring them back to where they need to be? It should be like that, right?
It's instant. Yeah. It's always instant. Every overnight success that took 30 years, the click is when it clicks. So it's a matter of when you let go of the anchor. End of story is how I see it.
So wait, I just want to reiterate one thing you just said. So if you had to peel it all apart and you went down to the very, very core, is it what you just said? When someone decides to let go of the anger, that is the root of
Anchor.
it all.
I was saying anchor. Yeah, when you decide to
Oh,
let go of that
anchor.
anchor, because and I'm really glad you said that. Over these last 3 months, there's been a theme that's come up for me 1,000 times. I see everybody talking about what's holding you back, what's holding you back, what's holding you back. Bullshit. There isn't anything holding you back. That whole thing, that's a lie in the self-help industry. You don't have to find out what's holding you back. What's, quote, holding you back is you. There isn't anything else. And what's really ironic, I find the more spiritually aware people, constantly, oh, all is one, all is one, all is one. Well, except that. And I create my reality, except that, and we're all one. Except that asshole. Like, there's only one, and I'm the one who's either holding myself back or letting myself fly through the stars.
So, with that being said, then, when it boils down to it's us, right? We're holding ourselves back, and then you take that apart. Well, is it because we're not in alignment with our source energy? Like, why are we not there?
Yeah, trauma. I mean, ultimately, it's trauma. It's what we went through that led us to believe. So at the root of it, Maxwell Maltz, Psycho-Cybernetics, one of the most powerful things that I've ever read. And there's one quote in that book that's worth it. So he was a plastic surgeon, brilliant plastic surgeon, who was also a brilliant psychologist. And he discovered that he would help them change whatever they thought was broken, their nose or their ear, but they wouldn't see it. And so he came up with, after decades of this, he came up with this quote: it's impossible for a human being to behave in a manner that's inconsistent with their own self-image. It's impossible for a human being to consistently behave in a manner that's inconsistent with their own self-image. So the way that I dissect that and rearrange it and hand it to people is, you, infinite, unlimited, eternal being of love and joy and peace. That's what you are. That's how simple it is. You're an infinite, unlimited being, and your attributes are love and joy and peace. You are abundant and perfect and complete in all ways. And you're so powerful that whatever you believe is what you will endlessly forever reflect. You're not necessarily attracting, you're not necessarily getting, you're mirroring. The universe, in fact, it doesn't exist. It's a mirror of everything you think and believe that you know. When you change what you think and believe that you know, what you reflect instantaneously changes. So it's like walking up to a mirror and looking at a mirror and seeing a frown in it, and you don't like it. So you go to work on the mirror for the next 30 or 40 years trying to fix the frown. Smile.
Hey, Brian. So check. Okay, when you're talking in terms of, let's say you're talking to someone, and when you say what's holding you back, so I guess in some sense that says, okay, well, there's an external thing that maybe they associate to it.
That's
what
right.
would be the proper terminology to deliver to that person? Would you say something like, why are you holding yourself back? Like, really, it's like, how would you position that instead of like what's holding you back, which is external?
Yeah.
What the fuck are you doing to yourself? Like, how would you phrase that?
Yeah, well, just for the record, like, I do it 100 times a day. Like, my days and nights are helping people to undo whatever they haven't been able to undo, and I do it with questions. Like, I don't tell anybody anything, and I will say, oh, so they'll say to me, well, Brian, I've got cancer, and I say, are you absolutely positive beyond the shadow of a doubt that there is a thing called cancer? And if they're willing to be honest, anybody who's not willing to be honest doesn't want to be free. You can't be lying to yourself and free. So if they look at that question, well, let me see, where did I get this shit that there is? Where's all the information I ever got in my entire life that I have anxiety, or that I have cancer, or that I have money issues? Where did I get that shit? Am I absolutely positive beyond the shadow of a doubt that thing that I labeled exists? No, I'm not. That not knowing instantly, that just questioning what they knew, begins to retrieve some of their power from what they were reflecting that they thought was external.
What are as people watching and they're going through this, like, what are some of the disciplines they need? Like, I'll give you, like, me and April, we don't watch the noose. You know what I mean? Just because it's like it's there, right? So I mean, and that's just our own thing, but it helps.
Yeah,
I
me
think.
too.
Yeah, you too. It helps, right? Not knowing.
Big time.
Yeah. So what are some of the disciplines that people really need to step up, man, and just be like, look, here's an ABC of how you start taking responsibility, break the curse, break the pattern, whatever you want to call it, break the poor is me shit. Like what do you kind of lay out for people to help them in that realm?
And
Really,
is it a curse?
Say again?
And is it a curse?
Well, yeah, if you put it in quotes, I agree with you. Yeah. Because that's what we perceive it to be, right? So I have two techniques, when it all boils down. The first one, and it's really trippy that you said ABC, because I have an ABC, and that is assume benevolence constantly. Always look for the benefit. And now a lot of people talk about this. But I'm going to tell you something. There's something deeper, and that is, no matter what happens, literally, if your spouse dies. Now, I don't believe in death. I believe we leave our bodies, but let's just say, someone you love, quote, dies. Your business completely goes to shit. Your house burns down. If you live, as I do, 24/7 now, walking through saying, how is this for me? What is the gift in this experience? How did this whole thing happen for me? What is it giving me a chance to feel and wake up from? So ABC, assume benevolence constantly. If you literally walk through your day and no matter the worst thing you could ever imagine happens, and you didn't know it was a fucking worst thing that could ever happen. If you were curious, how is this for me? What is the benefit? And you actually mean it, you're free. You just set yourself completely free. The second thing, though, is really key. And it's if someone said, okay, Brian, you can offer one quote practice or discipline, and that's all that people can have, what would it be? I have discovered a way of breathing, and there's Wim Hof, who I admire. There's prana. There's a million breathing techniques, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about breathing in the way that brings a human body into complete peace, harmony, and presence. And so I've actually created videos about it. They're free on all of my websites, where I show how to breathe in a very simple way. However, you know what? Let's see. If we got to
do it now.
Yeah, and I'll fly. I'm going to fly through the philosophy of this. So check this out. This will be the fastest I've ever done this. If you smile, we all know that when you're happy, you smile. We all know that. But what almost nobody knows, it blows my mind. Almost nobody's aware of this. If you smile, you'll feel happier. So if anybody that wants to play along, and if you guys want to, just for a minute, so smile and just get a big ass goofy. Now just let yourself feel that for a minute, and now try to think a really sad thought. Try to think of something really bad. Try your best to just get as upset as you can possibly get while you're doing this. You'll find that you can't. So now there's something super profound here, and I don't want to cheapen it by going so fast. So everybody watching this, I really recommend later on you do this again. Take some time and reflect on it. So when you feel happy, you smile. Those wires, so to speak, run both ways. When you smile, you feel happier. Similarly, if you look at a baby at rest, and so this baby just got fed, had a great nap, it's laying there completely at peace. There's a way that baby breathes. And the way that they breathe is in through, unless there's physical issues, they breathe in through their nose, out through their mouth. Their belly does all the movement because their diaphragm just goes down. Now, we've had trauma and we don't let ourselves do that. Most of us don't ever get below our diaphragm into our bodies at all. So when you breathe in like this,
like a puppy too.
Exactly. Yeah. 100%. A calm animal at rest, a baby at rest. And so what happens is you breathe into your nose, your diaphragm goes down, it stretches your lungs to full capacity, your belly swells, which gives your guts, your intestines, your connective tissues a stretch and a massage. And then on the exhale, your mouth comes open and the breath comes out. Now, if we had hours, I would go into all the mechanics, but it's so simple. When your mouth is closed, the switch between your bagua, where your tongue touches the top of your teeth, that switch closes. When you exhale, that switch opens. So all the meridians, all the flow in all your security systems is also being switched on and off, which brings you into this real cyclical calm state. So here's how simple it is: in through the nose, out through the mouth. And then make the duration about the same. And then smooth out any wrinkles. You don't want any pause at the top or any gap at the bottom. It's a super smooth sine wave. And as you start to expand the capacity, once you get those simple steps, in through the nose, out through the mouth opens and closes, same duration in and out, and then you start to expand your capacity, you immediately start to notice, wow, I'm starting to feel so much more calm. My thoughts are clearing. My body's coming to actual rest. I'm releasing trauma on every exhale with no effort whatsoever, and you begin to become fully present like that baby at rest. So remember I said, if you feel happy, you smile. If you smile, you feel happy. If you breathe yourself into this place, you go into the state that if you were in that state, you would breathe that way. The wires go both ways. So what you're choosing to basically pretend that you're calm and safe and everything is well and you're totally at peace, and you find out that it is. And the minute you come into presence, you don't really have any work to do. And whatever trauma or quote healing there is will just reveal itself in perfect flow. You're in the place to be dumping that crap out.
Hey, how do you look at existence in it, that so people come here and then there's that thought process, okay, well, I came here to learn this, or I came here to experience this, or whatever that may be, right? So if they did come here to experience this, maybe some level of suffering or everything like that, do you leave them be and do you let them just do it and bless them on their way, or do you just give it everything you got to bring them forward? Was that is there anything to the fact that, hey, you made this choice to come here and you did, by infinite design, map this whole thing out? Is there anything to that, or was it just like you got dropped here? Here's going to be the inherent characteristics you're going to have to deal with. Now figure your shit out.
Man, that's one of my favorite questions, and almost nobody ever even looks in that direction. I love it. So here's the deal. When I was 3 years old, this will be a weird answer, but I will answer it. When I was 3 years old, I discovered that I had this. I didn't know it was, and I sure as hell didn't see it as a gift, but I had this ability. If somebody talked to me for a minute, I could see where their pain was. I could see what they were suffering was, and I could literally see, and I had a vocabulary at 3 years old to help people dissolve any issue out of their life. I'm on the planet doing what I'm here to do. And from then until 42, I helped every person that I met solve their deepest shit without waiting for permission. And I ended up pissing off and alienating every person that I met. I just was walking unconditional love. I saw someone in pain and I would go to help them. And at 42, I woke up and realized, don't help anyone until they ask for it. And what you said is the truth. You are here for the experience. You're here. I have no compulsion. The vast majority of people who call themselves healers, they don't really have any filter. They have this compulsion. I've got to help. I've got to help. I've got to help. They feel that, and they feel guilty when they're not helping. And the world needs bullshit. The world doesn't need anything. It's a bunch of infinite, unlimited, eternal beings who are here experiencing the exact suffering that they chose for reasons that's none of your damn business. It's none of my damn business. That's their. Yeah, but Brian, is that love? Yeah, love lets an infinite, unlimited, eternal being experience what they're here to experience. I finally woke up, and now when people come to me for help, I know they're ready for help, and I help them. But I got no push to go helping anybody who isn't asking for it. Not anymore.
But they need to be the ones to be able to literally, for this to really work and for them to have their soul's existence, they need to be the one like, oh fuck, something's wrong.
Totally. Well, I'm ready.
Right.
Either something's wrong, or I'm ready for something to be more the way I prefer, which is the way I frame it. But the outcome's the same. Yeah.
It's interesting. So many healers are not well themselves.
Yeah.
And so the question always is there: if they're not well themselves and they're not in top shape, how are they going to help you?
Yeah, and you know, there's gifts. There's certainly there are people who have amazing abilities and who really can barely tie their own shoes. Certainly. Well, good morning, buddy.
Aw.
Come on in. Let's pet him, man. Bring him on. Bring
Come
him
say
on
good
in.
morning. Come here. Come here.
Oh,
This
look
is
at that.
Lottie.
Aw.
This is Lottie, and he is my absolute best friend. We've been together for about 1.5 years, and he's one of the coolest people I've ever met in my life. And he
He's
doesn't let a morning go by without it. You know, so love you, boy. I'll see you in just a bit, okay?
So cute.
So, you know, the thing is that you can, quote, trust if someone has an ability, a, quote, healing gift, you can trust their healing gift, but I wouldn't take their advice. and what they do is often going to be colored by what they're still carrying. And yeah, it's a deep topic, but
Yeah, there's a lot to it, because then there's that energy transference. Is there something to that? Meaning, like, you know, if you're dealing with someone that's kind of, you know, not even that they're nefarious, but they've just absorbed all that funky juju, and then you go to them advice. Can you, in some capacity, be transferred to some of their funky juju because you allow that space to happen? Is there anything to that?
Yes, I would say absolutely yes. But if we bring 100%, and my philosophy is 100% total personal freedom is 100% total personal responsibility. And ultimately, in my journey going along the way, if I work with some so-called healer and I pick up some of their shit along the way, that's just part of the journey that I planned anyway. So that's just going to add to the suffering. That's some of the suffering that I was here to go through. So thank you for doing. And that's why I say, you know, when I say that the vast majority of self-help, frankly, it doesn't help, it's bullshit. I'm not knocking any of the people. I'm not criticizing any teachers or healers or authors or anything. I'm just saying, look at that shit. It doesn't work, or it works up to this level, and that's it. So it's really our discernment. And the vast majority of us are here relearning how to discern. That's a big part of what we're here to do.
What an interesting ride.
We're relearning how to discern. We're relearning how to breathe. We're really actually relearning just how to have joy in our life, how to be the natural state of being that we were born to be in.
It's amazing. Like, it's amazing when you think about it. I mean, when you put it in perspective, I mean, we tell everybody they should have a show because you get the privilege of talking to someone like yourself, and it's like therapy all the time, right? So thanks for that, man. It's like it's like you do that, but it is like that. You're constantly learning how to live, you know. And I think if you look at it that way, you know, you got a shot if you're learning that. Hey, every day, like, how am I going to live today? What am I going to do to live? You know, like, how do I experience this video game, the simulation, whatever it is, you know?
Yeah. Well, go ahead.
I apologize.
Well, we both are saying, so I would just say, like, until the moment where you learn that presence is everything, the minute that you get, I'm either present or I'm not. Now, yes, there's a continuum. Okay, you can become more present, but the fact is you're present or you're not. Once you become present, you are in discernment. Once you become present, you are your intuition. Like, I don't personally, I tell you, one of the things I discovered that I haven't seen anywhere else, I have discovered that what some people perceive that intuition is a voice that some have and some don't. Bullshit. Some people believe that intuition is something you sometimes have. It comes up for a minute. Bullshit. Intuition is actually your true voice. It is ever present. It's just that we rarely have our heads. Most of the time, our heads are so far up our own ass of our bodies that we're not present to hear the intuition that's 100% 24/7, always guiding us with perfect clarity, perfect truth, because it's our true voice. So with that, it's really life, I find, is about becoming present. When you become present, you become the creator of your reality again. And it's a matter of just expanding into that. There's no more lessons. There's no more of that crap necessary.
Which leads me to a whole bunch of questions about karma and reincarnation and so forth and so on. I'll get to that in a second, though. But after you had, like, your awakening, was there ever a point from then until even now that you fell off the wagon and you started to slip back? And if so,
yeah. A million times, but I will say probably my view of that is very different than most people, because what I discovered is that the wagon. Okay, so I'll put it this way: when I lived in hell for 42 years of my life, and on the rarest occasions, I would have a microscopic glimpse for a second of heaven. And then when I had my awakening experience, oh, I am not only I am heaven, I am the creator of heaven and earth. So is everybody else. and I am the sole one. I am the I am. Yes, so are you, but that's actually none of my fucking business. Wait a minute. This is my reality. And if I walk in my reality as infinite creator of my experience, in my power, in my presence, I can create anything I want. And so from then, it's a matter of a momentary lapse of presence. If I'm tired, if I had a little bit too much caffeine and I'm tired, if I go to my computer and it breaks 5 times in the same day, I go, oh shit, wait a minute. How's this for me? So what has happened is the lapses are shorter and shorter and shorter. I went from having a few seconds of heaven in an infinite hell for 42 years to having a few seconds of hell. Oh shit, I don't want to choose that. And right back into heaven now. And now it's a few seconds a day that I'm out of it.
And sometimes maybe today just wasn't the day, right? I mean, sometimes like when you look at it, it's just not the day. And you need to, is that kind of the perspective we should be looking at? Like sometimes it just wasn't supposed to happen today.
Well, no, well, you know what? See, that's where ABC comes in. What is it about today that's a benefit for me? How is this computer breaking 5 times for me? Wait a minute. I really got pissed off about that. I didn't know I had that anger in me. So I view, to a great extent, I would say that our emotions, now something else that's happened for me over the years, I've come to see emotions as being something entirely different than the vast majority of people that I talk to about what emotions are. That's his favorite spot, by the way. You see that? That's where my clients sit when they come out to work with me. He loves it's full of solfeggio frequencies and all kind of other magic.
And you know that just answered the question for those who are asking if that was like a screen background. You know what I mean? I think the question's been answered, everybody, right? I mean, it's not a background, right?
Yeah, that's where people sit when I work with them. But I have no idea what my train of thought was. I don't care.
We're all in the rhythm. So you know, it's pretty interesting. I mean, so like, you know, if people can look at, you know, working at these things like this, like for example, like working with someone like yourself, it's a journey. Don't we all really ultimately, regardless who it is, don't we all need someone? I mean, do you think that the part of like where people trying to figure it out,
like a mentor,
we all need mentors, don't we? I mean, don't you need people that, but which, you know, everybody always needs someone, because there's always further along than you are.
Not to dispute, but I'm gonna say always, we always do until we don't. And when you reach a point of complete awakeness and you discover you truly are the you know what? Longest story ever. I'll put it in 1 minute. If you wanted to have a diamond show up in your hand, you're infinite creator. You can just do it. Princess cut, 22 karat, doesn't matter. I don't know why anyone would want a fucking diamond these days, but for people who care about shit like that. Okay, so you want a diamond, boom. But we don't believe that. So what we do is we create the illusion of past and future and a planet. And we have people 800 years ago who were digging in the rocks in another country and they found this shiny shit. And then somebody decided to go into business. And then someone in my town decided to open a store that sells diamonds. And next thing you know, click, 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 click. Someone buys it or I buy it. And now it's in my hand. We make it look like it's coming through other people's hands. Same way with truth. I perceive every voice that I ever hear, every headline. If I'm walking past and I see a headline, I look through a store window. I don't look at the news either, but I look through the store window for a half a second and I see a headline across the news. That was for me. And it came through somebody else. Mm-hmm. We keep making it look like it's coming through somebody else until we're ready to fully admit. And at that point, I would say we no longer need a mentor. And that's probably a minute or two away from most of us.
That's all right. So we're gods and God. We are gods. We are God and Goddess, if you would, whatever you want to tell me.
Absolutely. Yeah. Without limit.
So let me ask you this theory then. So when people are on their knees praying, you know what I mean? I promise if you give me this, I'll never do this again, kind of stuff like that. What are they actually doing Like, what's
Well,
the
first of
actual?
all, you were watching me. You were watching me several years ago. I can tell because you said exactly what I said. But anyway, yeah, what they're doing is they're transferring their power. They've been taught and programmed to believe that their power is in something outside of themselves. For them, it's either the sacred rock of Ubumuntu that they're praying to or the God in the sky that they're praying to. They believe that the power they need to get what they want is outside of them. So they're praying to what they perceive to be the source of it. And sometimes their belief in that power will actually bring about what they want, but it was their power the whole time.
God, it was just strong enough at that point.
What's your thoughts on reincarnation?
I am that which lives an infinite number of lifetimes. Now, I will say my take on this kind of freaks a lot of people. Hey, I'm not ready. I'm not ready to go out right yet. In a few minutes.
He's like, but I'm ready.
Yeah. Dad, you're up a little earlier, but I still like this whole outside when the sun rises thing. Yeah, we'll go with this a bit. It's okay, Bubba. Hang on. I know. So my take on reincarnation is very different than most people. I gotta say, I would say it's like the most inclusive that I've seen, and it is this: not only am I living multiple lifetimes. Well, okay, here, let me be a smartass for a minute. This idea about past lives. All the spiritual people who say there's no past and there's no future. Now we got to get to work on your past lives. Well, wait a minute. Right. If I ain't got no past, how I got past lives? There's no such thing as past lives or future lives. I am not only living all of those lives, I'm living all of those lives now. In fact, the true I am that is living every life in all universes simultaneously. So it just expands beyond the normal. You know, most of us, we reach out to where we think, okay, I accept the possibility that we live multiple times. Well, that's nice, but who else? If all is one, if we're really going to play all is one, then let's take a step back. All is one. That means I'm him. That means I'm the floor I'm sitting on. That means thank you, Zoom, for getting all up in my business here. I am the essential oils that I put on a little while ago. I'm the plant that the oils came from. I'm the planet that the oils are growing in. I'm every life simultaneously. And the more one just really steps into full presence and backs up, larger and larger view, I find out I am that. And I am that. And I am that.
Does evolvement come from using that scenario about really we're living it all together? Does the evolvement come from the fact that we all of these at some point in time, if we allow them to, are converging? So we are bringing past, future to present, which helps build upon you. It's almost like little building blocks of you. You know what I mean?
I would say yeah, and I would say yes. And are you guys familiar with Amanita muscaria?
No.
So I am now.
It's a legal mushroom, and I have no idea how it's legal. I'm really glad that I did that I created it. It's still legal. And it's nothing like psilocybin. I've worked with many entheogenic plants and things over the years, but Amanita is I'll tell you what, there's a documentary that I recommend everybody. It's called Fantastic Fungi. And it's just this incredible documentary about all fungi. And there's a segment in there where some of the...
I was going to say, that sounds familiar. I think we saw it.
And, you know, there's a segment in there where some of the more star-focused people say, you know, there's evidence for those who are willing to look. There's evidence that these fungi are actually multidimensional entities. And on our planet, they present themselves to us as Amanita. Just take the H out of what it's on the screen right now and you'll have it, Amanita. And so this idea that these fungi are multidimensional beings who present themselves to us as these little bodies of mushrooms. People that have worked with psilocybin often say that the fungi communicates directly with them. I've had that experience. And people that haven't say, oh, you were just tripping. You know, you're fine. No. So Amanita has this incredible ability to help you actually experience while you're here, you experience yourself in other lives on this planet, in other planets, in other dimensions.
It's not like an ayahuasca experience. It's not
Not at all. Not at all.
totally, it's closer to a psilocybin experience.
And what did you mean
No.
that when you said you're surprised that you made it legal? So what is the correlation?
Well, because I'm the creator. I'm always joking because I'm the creator of my universe. Like,
Oh, got it.
for whatever reason, I created that Aya is still illegal and psilocybin is illegal. But I'm just really glad that Amanita is still legal. Anybody can get it. And so what it does is it brings this perfect clarity. Amanita actually, it's almost like the opposite of hallucinogenic, I would say. It is completely clarifying. And lots and lots of people are starting to microdose with it. It is not, let me just say, I'm not an expert on it. It is not something to play with. You want to find an expert. There's a lady named Amanita Dreamer who I don't know her. I'm not affiliated with her, but I really respect her work. She's on YouTube. A great source of information.
Everybody's like, I get to see it right now. Everybody's like, hold on, slow down.
Amanita, what was that? Amanita what?
Amanita Dreamer.
Amanita Dreamer, everybody.
Yeah,
Amanita Dreamer. Amanita Dreamer.
Cool.
Interesting. Amanita Dreamer.
That's very interesting.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, but you know it's interesting that you can find these like all these things that are available. You know, like
so you had
to
mentioned
help you get closer like that. You know.
Yeah.
Breadcrumbs that we hid in the story, right? It's our breadcrumbs that we hid to help us find our way home.
Yes. Listen, I'm a firm believer in mushrooms. I think that, under the right circumstances, they can really do fantastic things.
Every business person should, because I think it would allow them to view their company or their businesses at a very different, and the people that help those businesses grow at a very different level. It really, I'm just saying, you know what I mean?
Well, I'll say the first ayahuasca journey that I had, I met with this just brilliant, incredible shaman. And when he recognized who I was, and we sat down, he went, "Oh, you're still alive. What the hell? Boy, you chose a tough one this time." And we talked for like 10 hours before my first journey. And he said in his mind, the greatest conspiracy ever committed against humanity was the conspiracy that made us forget that we are family with the plants. Holy shit. What a concept. And that a plant can be made illegal. Like, what the hell are you talking about?
Well, if you think about it, we have to
That's
literally,
wrong on every level.
greens, mud, whatever, but we have to, for the most, even if you don't eat meat, you have to ingest plants then.
Yeah.
You have to ingest it to live. You have to, it's like they help you live there.
Yeah.
Tell me about this level 5 mentoring. So people go like, what's that look like?
Yeah, well, I had this gift of helping people for my whole life since I was 3 years old. And I noticed, like, no matter what business foray I got into, everywhere I went, I was helping people change their lives. I mean, I got into sales, got into business, and I would go in and do a 6-figure consultation with someone. And literally 5 minutes in, they're saying, I just feel like I could tell you my problems. And they would tell me their issue. And I would say, would you like a different perspective on that? And if they said yes, 10, 15 minutes later, they're telling me that they just experienced a miracle. And so the day came in 2011, a few months after my awakening experience, that what I used to believe that there was me and a universe. I now know that the universe is my body. So the universe, my body said to me, Brian, quit doing this work that you're doing right now. And I said, okay, what am I going to do? And it said, you fucking moron, with so much love. My universe said, you fucking moron. What are you here to do? You know what you're here to do. Go do it. And so this thing landed for me. Wow. So level 5 mentoring. Why did I just get that? Okay, so there's meat suit, people who believe that they are just a body wandering around. There's mind, people who think mindset is what it's all about. There's religion, when you discover that there's something bigger than you and it's out there. There's spirituality, when you start trying to integrate this as yourself. And level 5 is I am infinite, unlimited, eternal being, creator of my existence. And so mentoring is something a lot of people understand. I don't consider myself a coach. even though I've sat with people and watched cancer disappear and I've watched scoliosis straighten out shit that's not supposed to happen, I don't call myself a healer. I believe everyone is the healer. So I really don't agree with that word. I honor whoever uses it. I just don't use the word for myself. And mentoring made a lot of sense to me. So in 2011, I created Level 5 Mentoring. We've been able to help over 200,000 people in 84 countries. We're just we're just getting started. Like, we're really just getting started. And people are, as life gets weirder, people who were skeptical about that woo-woo shit are starting to say, well, you know, maybe I'll just look. Let me just see if it's so exactly. I've worked with billionaires. I've worked with entrepreneurs. Homeless people on the street. Like, we have free offerings. We have things all the way up to, like, I have people come out, my highest ticket stuff. People come out and spend 4 days with me here in Hawaii, and we unmake their body, mind, emotions, and rearrange them back to their infinite selves. So I have things all across the spectrums, 2 books out, and just devoted to what I'm here on the planet for, which is helping as many versions of myself that look like other people that want my help.
I love it.
Very
I love
nice.
it, man. That's a cool gift, brother. I mean, it's really inspiring you to watch you live the journey out, and you know, God bless you, or whatever you believe in, bless you. All right. So Level 5 Mentoring, everybody, check out our Soul Brother stuff. See how he can help you, and you know, figure out what's going on. If you're at, you know who you are. You've heard enough of this already. You know who you are. If you're drawn to it, just go to the link below. If it's vibrating with you, reach out and see how he can help you, man. It's been cool to hang out with you today, brother. Thanks a lot.
Awesome.
Same. I love you both. Really great to meet you and have this dance. Let's do it again sometime.
I love you, man. We'll see you next time.
Absolutely. And before we jump off, if everybody could just take a quick second, please do hit the like button, hit the share. We would greatly appreciate it. And together with Brian's help, we are turning the universal key to global harmony and creating a unified world. Thank you so much for tuning in. And remember, tune in often, tell all your friends, and most importantly, come back at 1:30 because we're having a live show with Ethan Lucas. And many blessings and love to each and every one. Much love.
Aloha, everybody.
I love